everybody. I hope everyone's all right. This is just a quick one. I am crazily delivering flowers at the moment. I'm trying to get the monthlies out. I wanted to check in and see how the energies are doing with you, because since the full moon in Scorpio back at the weekend just seems to have gone completely mad. The whole world's gone mad. Everybody's gone mad. There's been nothing but phone calls, knocks on my door, emails, texts. Every time I try and do any, and everybody's suddenly got, everyone in my family just suddenly seems to have an appointment that they need to go to, and I need to take them there. So there's been this mad rush the past few days. There has also been an extreme push to sort of work on addictions or work on things that we know aren't serving us, that really came up. Now it might just be me. It was a Scorpio full moon. My moon sign is Scorpio, and see if I can just turn that down a bit. My moon sign is Scorpio, and my twin is Scorpio as well. So maybe it's just me and twin flames like me, but it just seems crazy at the moment. There's a real push. I woke up the morning after the full moon crying, just completely emotional, feeling guilty, all lower chakra stuff going on. I think that's why there's been a big push to work on our sacral chakra, probably because we had that approaching full moon, plus we've got Jupiter in retrograde. So there's been a huge, I need to give up coffee, and it's something that I've battled with, and I can give it up for a while and then I'll start back on it. And there's been a real, it was like the morning following the full moon, I just had this sudden realization of
after 200 yards, bear left, new road,
addictions and things that we're addicted to, earthly, they're basically earthly pleasures or earthly things. And it, you know, it can be smoking, drinking, buying new pairs of shoes, materialism.
then turn right.
Addictions is not all about the bad stuff. It can be any, watching too many TV programs is an addiction. Watching a certain TV program, it's things that are keeping us in the 3D, things that are keeping us in a third dimensional realm, instead of moving and blocking us and stopping us to moving up to, you know, up 4 through to 5th. So it's like we keep being anchored and we keep being anchored into
turn right,
the third dimension. I really want to turn my sat nav down. So the thing with something that they told me about addictions, I'm going to turn this down, it's driving me crazy, I can't talk over it. Okay, cool. What they told me about addictions, it doesn't matter what it is, but I'm just going to give a couple of examples. If you drink a lot, it's not necessarily when you get the urge to drink or you get the urge to smoke, whatever it is, when you get that urge or take drugs or shop, or it's not necessarily those urges. They're coming from a lower chakra, obviously. There is a certain addiction in the 3D because of the chemicals that are used and what's in them. But there is also the fact that we have got spirits, deceased people that have moved over to the other side. Now, if they move over to the other side and they did not give up their addictions when they died, then what happens is they will try and latch onto a living person, a living vessel who has that addiction in this lifetime, So they will latch onto you, and that little voice inside your head that keeps saying, go, just go and have one more drink, go and have another cigarette, go and eat another chocolate bar. Sometimes it's not you, sometimes it is the parasite, the spirit that has latched onto you to try and feed their own addiction through you. And this was a sort of I sort of know this, but you know, when you have the big realization and sort of truly remember, and you go, oh yeah, that upset me, because obviously, and it also helps, you know, we're on in the ascension process, we're moving up into 5D. Whatever's keeping us anchored in the 3D is keeping us anchored here, and we need to let go of it and move up. If anything was ever to happen to any of us, when our time comes, when it's time for us to go, at whatever time that actually is, if we go and we haven't given up these addictions, if we haven't given them up, you know, we could be that spirit trying to latch onto a living person, trying to get a fix of whatever it was that we did not manage to move beyond and move past in this lifetime. You know, meat comes into it, dairy comes into it, gambling, everything that is a 3, you know, money, whatever it is. You know, we could be that person, we could be that spirit that comes back. Now we're on an ascension process as twin flames, star seeds, crystal seeds, everybody, with the sole intention of not coming back here, because if we reach enlightenment, if we fully ascend, it means basically we have learned every lesson that we needed to learn down here. This is our last lifetime and we're not coming back. But if we haven't learnt it by the time we go, I don't want to come back. So there's a real sort of battle that goes on. I remember a story about somebody who was who didn't drink, who was clairvoyant and psychic, and they walked into a bar and they could see all of these people drinking in the bar, and gradually as the night wore on, they all got a lot more drunk, a lot more loud, unbearable, and as they did that, they could actually see that their souls within them were actually leaving their body. They were staying attached to the silver cord, but they were hanging about above them because they did not want to be in a toxified body, in a toxified vessel, while they were doing what they were doing. And they actually left, the soul was actually leaving the body and hanging around above while they were, and at that point, that vessel that is drinking is empty. And at that point, it gives every opportunity to every other spirit to actually not just latch on, but to actually enter for that amount of time while they're doing it. This is why people's personalities change. This is why people get angry. They turn from Mr. Jekyll into Mr. Hyde, or Miss Jekyll into Miss Hyde when they're drinking. Because they're being taken over. They're being taken over by another spirit who wants them to do that, who will put those violent thoughts into their head of fighting, lower chakra things, jealousy, crying, over emotional, codependent, all of that. Codependency on other people is another addiction that we really need to get past. Until we are whole within ourselves, until we have got through these things, yes, we are ascending, yes, we are hopefully moving past these things. I'm going in totally the wrong direction because I can't hear the sat nav now. Yay! I really have to turn around and concentrate. But and you know what, I just want to give a shout out to everybody out there who did or is struggling. at the moment because it's hard. I've got to give up the coffee. It was such a strong realization for me that the coffee's got to go, along with a few other things, but definitely the coffee has to go. And I didn't think the coffee was that big a problem. I thought it's okay. What I didn't realize was, though, whereas I actually stopped drinking coffee for a while, and whereas I just decided to, you know, stick to green tea, etc., and I do stick to distilled water, and when I make coffee I make it with distilled water, etc., but that addiction comes back. And whereas you're drinking just 1 cup of coffee in the morning, it slips into 2 coffees, or it slips into 3 coffees, or I'll just have another coffee because I'm tired, and slowly, without you realizing it, it ups itself. And again, you know, spirit's on the other side, especially as we're traveling through the 4th dimension, and we're popping up into 5th, and then we're popping back down into the 4th. Anything that is keeping us down, we have to start trying to clear it, make a real effort to get past it and clear it. Just let me concentrate for a second. I can't remember what I was going to say then. I lost my thread completely because I'm concentrating on driving. It's not, and do you know what? We can lie to people around us. We can say, oh, I'm not doing that, and I'm not drinking coffee, and I'm not having a drink, or I'm not, whatever it is. I've got no attachment to it. It's all gone past that and everything. You can lie to other people, but you can't lie to yourself. You cannot hide from yourself. You cannot hide from your own shadows. You're just fooling yourself, and we can't do that. We absolutely cannot do that. And not only are you trying to hide from yourselves, and I'm not talking just to you, I'm talking to myself about this as well. Not only can you not, you know, your guide, your angels, your higher self, God creator, your twin, they know because they're with you all the time. So they absolutely know what you're doing. Doesn't matter that you don't say it to anybody else and you do it on the sly, or you do it in a quiet corner of the room, whatever, and no one else is watching. They still know because they're with you and they're watching you all the time. So I wanted to get that out. The energies have been really, really strong. As I said, it's been I got the twin flame readings out. That's cool. I'm trying to get on with the general readings for the month, and I've switched them up a bit as well. They're not a Celtic cross this month because sometimes I don't like doing the same thing all the time. I find that if I do a different kind of spread, then I'll, you know, different information, it gives the opportunity for different information. And again, it stops me getting attached to one, you know, particular, you know, doing the same thing month in and month out. So I have changed them up. I'm really looking forward to the readings that I've got in for personal readings and everything, and obviously all my stuff is below and everything else if you want a personal reading. I'm just nosy. I just love delving into other people's lives and helping as much as I can. But yeah, there is this real push at the moment. We're never going to get into union while there are certain things yet. We don't have to be 100% free of everything, but we have to be pretty close, and we have to be in full honesty with ourselves about what's going on. What's been happening to you over the full moon, plus this Jupiter in retrograde, seems to be having an effect. Delays seem to be coming around again in certain areas. Not so much actually though, my electronic thing has upped a little bit. My phone is flashing, my computer's flashed a couple of times, a couple of my slider tendencies seem to have come up the last few days, probably since I saw those lights during the night in my room. it's probably been since then. But the high energies that have been a little bit mad and continue to be at the moment. But so I'm carrying on with the general. I just wanted to check in, and I just wanted to just say, don't worry, don't panic, don't once something has been brought up for your attention, once you have that aha moment, once you realize something, then it's our focus and our will to actually work on it. And it's not always pleasant, and it is quite uncomfortable, and you know, coffee, these withdrawal symptoms and things like that. But again, it's something that we all strive towards, and whatever we do brings the twin flame up as well, has that effect. I'm not saying, you know, if I stop drinking coffee, my twin's going to stop drinking coffee, because bless him, if he was to have a Kundalini awakening, he would have there's a lot to clear there. And I don't always think that the twin is the one that has to do all the clearing. We're the spiritual ones, we're the ones that are going up into 5th dimension, they're anchoring into the 3rd dimension. Yes, they will have an awakening, whether it's to the same height or the same level as us, or whether they have to stay, you know. We've been brought in with certain templates which we have to carry out, which helps future generations and future twin flames get through their ascension easier, because you know the forerunners have already been through it, so that helps an awful lot. But yeah, I just wanted to mention all this. There's been a lot of purging and a lot of emotions, and obviously full moon in Scorpio brings up a lot of emotions, but it brings up things, it brings up your shadow self basically, and I think that's what it's done this week. But once you realize it, yeah, sometimes it's uncomfortable, but it's like, yeah, okay, well now I need to start working on it, whatever that is. If it hasn't been brought up for you, an addiction that you've got or something that you're tied to, that you know, it does come up, it will come up for you. Maybe you are not at a point in your spiritual evolution at your time, in your divine timing on your particular path. Maybe you are not at that point yet where something needs to go. You know, maybe you're working on other stuff, dealing with other stuff, but you will get that push from your guides and angels for definite, very very strongly. And very shockingly sometimes too. But the thought of having any sort of coffee attachment to me at the moment just turns my stomach. When you look, it's okay to look at addictions in the 3D, on the 3D level, and to say, yeah, well, it does this, this and this in the 3D, and this is how it affects your health. But you start looking at it from the spiritual perspective, from what it does to you on a spiritual basis, it's actually worse. It's actually harder hitting. For me, it's harder hitting anyway. So, yay! Right, I'm jumping out. All my tickets are booked for California now, and for the Contact in the Desert in June. I'm there between the 1st and the 4th of June, so only about 3.5 weeks now, so I'm going to have to try and get the June readings out as well before I toddle off there. If you are in the California area, I'm thinking of doing live one-to-one readings while I'm there from the 1st to the 4th, but drop me an email on that if you're interested. I'm staying at the Hilton Homewood Suites La Quinta in Palm Springs. So that's where I'll be doing the readings from. So if you're anywhere near there and you would like a private one-to-one reading with me, drop me a line, and I'll get that sorted out and arranged and booked in. And for now, I need to deliver. So namaste, and I'll carry on getting the videos out. I just wanted to I thought I might as well do this while I'm driving. All right, bye.